Do you have an associate, but people ask to see you instead of your associate? Do you want to be getting your associate busier faster? Today, let's talk about the number one biggest mistake that many chiropractor practice or chiropractic practice owners make that keep their associates from being busy quickly enough, and what to do instead. Welcome to my show. This is Chen Yen, your show today of the ChiroSecure show. So one of the biggest mistakes I often see chiropractors make with this is this idea of feeling this sense of pride with how you've taken care of your patients so well, and to ask for you, right? It just feels really good. And so patients continue to ask for you, and then you feel like, oh, I should still keep them as my patients instead of giving them to my associate. So that's, instead of doing that, if you actually want your practice to grow faster, then the first thing is to decide, okay, how much can I let go of? And even if I might feel like I might treat a patient better than my associate, how will letting go of seeing them and giving them to my associate actually free up my time, perhaps to do other things within the practice to help it grow more, to help more people? And then perhaps just keep your most favorite patients. And then another mistake is in that situation to not actually give people, your patients, the confidence of seeing your associate. For example, one great tip for you to incorporate is if patients are saying, oh, I want to see you, then tell them, oh, our chiropractor, our new chiropractor is amazing. He or she is such and such, and give them the confidence to see them. Whether it's saying that, I even have gotten treatments from him and I think they're really great, right? So are you actually saying things that give your associate, give people the confidence about your associate? So then that way they're not feeling gun shy about seeing your associate and keep asking for you. A second hot tip related to this is to actually make your website be less about you in this next stage of practice growth. See, when you first started the practice, it's natural to mainly have your website and any marketing materials be all about you and why, in terms of, for example, in the About section of your page, because the relationship was built with you and the patients came to see you initially. But when you're transitioning to having an associate, it's really important for you to start showcasing the clinic instead, and the clinic's brand story, instead of just mainly about your story or your credentials. Because otherwise, if one of the mistakes I have seen before is chiropractors hiring associates, and then their website's still outdated with that, and their associate might not even be on the website very quickly. Or if they are, the associate might not even have much of a bio on there or at all, and it's just the bio of, for example, of the practice owners. So as soon as possible, have your website incorporate more of why, the brand story, as far as why to come to your clinic, not just why to come see you, but why to come to the clinic itself. And then also ask your associate to share their inspiration and journey on your website as far as why they chose to practice the way they did or became a chiropractor, so that way they can inspire other people who go to the website to want to see them versus you. And then a third hot tip about what to do differently is to also be looking at considering this is to potentially change pricing. So this is completely up to you, but it can be an approach, especially if you still continue to feel like your clinical skills are so much better than your associate. You have like 30 years of experience, over 20 years of experience, and then your associate has like 1 year of experience, and the people still continue to ask for you no matter what you do. Then this is something you can consider, which is to relook at your pricing. does it make sense for you to actually charge more for people coming to see you because you're just so much more effective, right, with getting results clinically for your patients, and then charge less for people to see your associates, but meaning not to lower your fees in your practice, but rather raise your fees and then keep the associates fees as yours was previously. So that's also another hot tip, the third hot tip of what you could do to help get an associate busier faster. And then the fourth hot tip is to, do you actually have a plan? Have you actually thought about the three phases of an associate? And by the way, if you want more practice makeover tips and also tips related to hiring and onboarding, go to introvertedvisionary.com. So go to introvertedvisionary.com and click on the More Patients tab, and there are practical, immediate tips you can use. And then we're going to get into the three phases of having an associate come on that most chiropractors don't really think about. And when you think about it and incorporate it, it will actually help you get patients faster for your associate. And see, here's the thing, what many chiropractors do is get all excited. See, the most exciting day is what? It's the day you hire someone. And you think, oh my gosh, this is going to be great. They're going to take patients off my plate. They're going to start bringing new patients. And like, you're super excited. You finally found someone. And then what can happen? Like, a lot of times, many chiropractors, especially when hiring their first associate, haven't had the experience of doing that. It's not something that's taught in school. And then I remember I wasn't taught these things. And when I first started hiring, I made some pretty bad mistakes that cost me a lot of heartache, headache, and money. Can you relate to that? Have you ever experienced that before? Or maybe if you haven't hired yet, you're actually a little concerned about that, right? And you don't like the idea of managing people. You don't like the idea of micromanaging either. You just want them to be able to do their job, and you can just focus on other things instead of feeling like you have to look over their shoulders. So because you have high standards, you want people to be able to be able to help your patients in the way that you want your patients to be served. So without care being compromised. And so, but then how do you translate that to someone new coming on board and that they're meeting those standards quickly? So one mistake is not really thinking about these phases and just throwing them in and then seeing, basically like, oh yeah, okay, so let's day one, what do we do? And not really having a plan and then starting to feel really disappointed about why is this person not working out as much as I'd like? Why are they not seeing as many patients as quickly as I'd like? I'm feeling a little bit regretful of maybe I hired too soon and money's going out the door, that kind of thing, right? It's not a fun feeling. And so when you do actually keep this in mind of the three phases when having an associate come on board, it'll make a big difference. So what are they? So the first phase is actually the 30 to 60 days before even hiring someone. 30 to 60 days before even hiring someone. How is your practice prepping your existing patients to the idea of someone new coming into the practice even, right? And then whether it has to do with bring that up casually, that we're super excited, we're bring on another chiropractor or such and such associate or whatever practitioner. It doesn't have to be a chiropractor, right? It could be any practitioner. And talk about how excited you are and why you're so excited about having this person be a part of the practice for your patients to benefit from. Another hot tip is to also, in that time frame, what are you, like when you've already decided an associate would be hired, what are they doing to help you with being able to market them to your practice better? For example, are you asking them to perhaps create an introductory letter to your patients, right? That tells them a bit about themselves and their passion and why they're super excited to join the practice, so that when this person is hired, things like this end up being able to be sent out and shared with the patient base or your list. And that way people start feeling comfortable with this person sooner rather than later. The second phase, so there are also other like for example, in our 4 weeks to new hire system, there's a whole checklist of these things, like what to do exactly 30 to 60 days before, what exactly to do first week, what to do after that. So the second phase, so is do you actually pay attention to especially the first 2 weeks, of an associate coming on board? Why is that first 2 weeks so important? And also, especially that first week, because have you ever been in a place where you were too busy yourself and then you didn't actually spend as much time on fostering the growth of whoever you've hired, whether it's your associate or whether it's an admin staff or CA or someone else? You were so busy doing other things, seeing patients and that kind of thing. And then this fell to the wayside. So you didn't end up training up this person in a very systematic way. And then you start noticing things happening later on as they continue to work with you that you feel like, wait, why are they doing this way? Or why did they miss this thing? How come this is not happening? How come that is not happening? And then it starts feeling frustrating for you. Have you ever experienced that before? Type in the chat, yes, if you've experienced that before. So, or type in the comments below now. So yeah, so you're totally not alone with that. And so it is hard to a month later, 6 months later, to request or to train someone to do things in the way you would like when they've already started to develop habits. That first week, second week, they're observing, they're seeing how your relationship is with them, what you're doing to pay attention to them. And so especially in those first and second weeks, however way they are experiencing getting onboarded into your practice, it sinks in their brain and sinks into their being of how they feel like things should be, right? So if you want to be impactful with how you would like things to be run in the practice, your high standards of care, those kinds of things need to be, you really need to pay attention to this second phase, which is especially the first and second weeks of when they are onboarded. So what exactly do you do there, right? So having a checklist for those things in that time frame is super important. Then there's the third phase, which is really the rest of, you could look at that as like the rest of the days that total of the 90-day time frame. So the first 90 days are one of the most important because of what I just shared with you, where the whole culture that they pick up on. See, it's not just about what you say, it's also about what you do, as an example for your staff. So if there are certain things that you say is important to you as part of the practice, but you are actually doing things differently yourself, that doesn't always set that example for your staff is doing different things than you're asking for them for, then in terms of expectations, then they're going to pick up on that. So the first 90 days, do you actually have a step-by-step onboarding plan? Do you actually have time set aside where you're meeting with this person regularly, most frequently within the first 2 weeks, especially, and then also the rest of the 90 days? Are they very clear about what is the definition of success for them? And for many of you, it's not just seeing patients. It's actually seeing patients to where there is a specific measure of success, meaning that maybe patients are happy, or meaning that they also retention happens, right? And so they don't drop off care. So what are your set of expectations? Are these measured and defined and shared with your new associate? Do they know about your culture? Do they know about your values? Could they actually share, if you were to ask them right now, if you actually have an associate right now, already in your practice right now, if I were to ask you, if I were to ask your associate directly, what's the vision of this practice, or what are the top 5 core values of your practice? Can they actually say that? Can they actually say that and share it? Because that is the living and breathing pulse of how they make their decisions in the practice. Do you actually have that set of decisions created? Do you actually have that set of guiding principles of where everyone on your team is making decisions from, so that they can actually carry out the high standards and the high amazing vision that you have for your practice? So those are some hot tips I just shared with you. Actually 3 hot tips plus a bonus 4th one, which was the 3 phases and what to pay attention to there. So with that, go ahead and if you're in a place where you are struggling with getting your associate busier, because the other thing is also you probably need more new patients coming in the door. So typically, if you've just been busy with your own patient load, you had your own set ways of bringing patients in, but it's not enough right now. And if you aren't able to keep your associate busy enough, then they're going to actually feel like, this is not fun right now. Like maybe I should go find another part-time chiropractic job or do something else. And then once that happens, their energy is diverted, right? Because they need to be able to make a certain amount of money typically to meet their needs financially. So the sooner you're able to ramp them up, the better than them sitting there twiddling your thumbs. So one of the biggest mistakes, actually, what I was going to bring up, which I just realized I hadn't, I brought up some mistakes, but I didn't bring up the number one biggest mistake, is expecting your associates to market. The number one biggest mistake many chiropractors make with their associates is expecting them to market in the practice and feeling like, wait, they should be bringing in new patients for me. And maybe they should even be doing, different kinds of social media posts or talks or talking to people who are going to networking and doing spinals, the kinds of screenings when things open up and that kind of thing. Why is that a mistake? Because think about complementary value. What is the complementary value that you're bringing to your associate? They want to just be able to show up and just see patients and not have to deal with the business side of things. But now you're putting on stressors for them to have it be an expectation that they actually find their own patients. What that means is that it's like, what was I going to say? It can be an unrealistic expectation, and you're not bringing in complementary value to the relationship as much. They just could as easily go find their own patients and start their own practice and keep all of the money. Would you say that's true? So one of the biggest complementary values that you can bring as a practice owner is that constant flow of new patients for your associate. So just look for somebody who is really good with the clinical side of things and keep them busy, and they're going to be really happy that way. Are there exceptions to this? Absolutely. There are definitely exceptions to this where you might find an associate who actually really likes to market and likes to learn to market, likes to market. And if that's the case, great. But if you're coming into the relationship with those high expectations that they should be able to market for you, think twice. Why not just they go and start their own practice? Right? So that is a hot tip for you to remember, because your life can be a lot easier when you are the one bringing in patients for the practice and just let them see the patients and help your patients and make money for you, where you can be away from your practice and money's coming in the door. You can be away from your practice and new patients are being helped and existing patients are being helped. You don't have to worry about it at all. Right? So that is totally possible. And then you just need to have a system of being able to bring in patients in the door consistently, because many chiropractors don't actually have that system. The next level system in terms of another added source of new patients to also keep an associate or the rest of your associates busy aside from just yourself. So what is a strategy that feels most in resonance with you, right? To be able to do that in a way that doesn't require you to have to spend a ton of time marketing, and where you don't have to spend a boatload on ads and money going out the door quite a bit a month all the time. So feel free to check out introvertedvisionary.com and check out the free trainings tab. So go there right now and then click on the free trainings tab. Check out the different avenues that have been working really well for our chiropractor clients right now in bring in new patients in the door. So that way you can start to fill up your associate's practice and have it be more fulfilling for you, where you're making a bigger impact without having to feel so burnt out, trying to see so many patients yourself, or feeling so burnt out, trying to get your associate busy. Let's just have things simplified for you. And also, you're welcome to go to introvertedvisionary.com and then also book a chat with us and see how we can help you further if you'd like. So stay tuned for next week, where your host, Dr. Charmaine Herman, will be the show host. And till next time,